Okay, so Bob the UPS guy showed up. Wasn't expecting him till next week with my Speedway order, but he showed up, which was perfect timing because I just got all of the brake lines in and done. My next step was to rebuild the front brakes, you know, put the new rotors and calipers and all that on there. And he just showed up, so perfect timing. Even my dogs were happy because they love the UPS guy because he comes bearing cookies. So anyways, this kit seems nice, pretty complete. It's got everything. It's got bearings. It's got new, I got new rotors with it. Got the bearings that go in with the rotors. I got a bag of whatever, more parts. Got all the lines and dust covers and bolts and more doodads. Came with the brackets that go onto the spindles that hold the calipers. Got a set of shoes. Pads. Shoes are on the back, pads. Backing plates, dust covers. And then, of course, two calipers. And this is not the updated, but the later model, 69 to 74, which has a single piston instead of the 4 piston. It's going to make me be able to get parts anywhere. They're super cheap. And instead of messing around with only being able to go to a restoration route, trying to find that, which can be kind of pricey. So that is going to be my next job. I will probably get on that tomorrow, and I'll make a video of putting that together. And then I'll do that and bleed the brakes. And then that section will be done. I need to put oil in the rear end still, you know, no big deal, and put the shocks on. I also bought some shocks for the front of this. And that'll pretty much be it. The whole rolling chassis will be ready to go. I also got an order in today. I just kind of went for it all at once, you know, and I ordered some stuff from Summit. And even though this engine's brand new, you know, it was just overhauled. In fact, I got, when I bought the car, it came with paperwork on it and everything, but they had put a 350, it's a 325 horse 396, and they put a 350 horse cam in it, but the 350 horse cam, it's a smooth idle, it's just, it doesn't do much for it. So I figured while it's out, not a big deal. I also bought a new cam for it, a little bit bigger. It's still gonna be a real mild cam, but this one has will have a little bit of a lope to it and a little bit more low end grunt, you know, kind of what I want. So I'll go ahead and put that cam in it too. I was gonna change the intake manifold as well, but you know, I could do all that stuff later on down the road. So this will get it in there and get it going. I also got a shift kit. The transmission's brand new, and you know, now I think about it, I should call the guy I got the car from and see if it was shift kitted when he had it built. I don't know. If not, I bought a shift kit I could throw in there. Just figured I'd just get all that kind of stuff done while it's out of the car, because there's nothing worse than working on a transmission on your back and having that fluid run down your arm, you know, and if anybody's done that work, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It sucks. So anyways, not to ramble on, but that's going to be what I'm doing. Tomorrow we're going to get going on the brakes. So see you then. I put a pan underneath here to catch any of the fluid. I doubt there's going to be any in there because all the lines have been changed, but anytime I can contain a little bit of more stuff on the floor, I guess is a good thing. Now, this one I already had on because I had off, because I went and rebuilt it, put new seals and stuff in this one side, and just kind of tried to go with what I had, but the problem was the pistons themselves were pitted pretty good, and I was only able to find one piston for the caliper, so I just decided to heck with it. What it would cost me for the other pistons to go in here, especially for both sides, I could have just bought everything new, which is what I did. So that's how I did it. Yeah, interesting thing about these is they have a hard line that actually goes to here from the backing plate over there. So you have your rubber line that comes from the frame and goes down to the back of the spindle, and then it goes to another hard line to here. It's kind of a, you can tell it's an early design because they eliminated all that and made it a little bit more simpler, which I like. I like simple. I like simple a lot. Well, they were not shy with the grease on here. That's for sure. It's good. It's good. Everywhere I look on this car, I find stuff that was just shows signs of good maintenance, good routine maintenance. Okay, we're down over here. I might need to wipe that off because I cannot see what I'm doing here. There it is, right there. You know, some guys will bend their cotter pins back like that. Some will bend them around. You never really know. I guess there's no wrong way to do it. So, I guess some people have an opinion about that, what's right and what's wrong. Oh, no dust cover. See, I can't see what I'm doing. Now we'll get to the rest of that. All right, so I got it apart, got it all cleaned up. Again, this is gonna be a driver car. This isn't gonna be a show car. And I know I can go a little bit farther and clean up, but one of the things I found over the years of doing this is you gotta know when to stop. You know, all of this suspension, from what I can tell, and is in good condition. There's no reason to yank it all apart and put a whole bunch of new stuff in there just because I want to see a bunch of shiny stuff. So I'm going to go back together with it. Eventually, it's probably all going to come apart anyways to get upgraded here and there. And at that point, I'll do something differently. But for right now, it's going to go back together just like this. So I'm just going to put that nut in there as a placeholder right now. On the bottom here, these go through. And back to the steering arm, back here, like that. I got the backing plate on, got the mount for the caliper on. Had to make a little bit of an adjustment in this because when I first put it on, it kind of made a little bit of a noise, but it doesn't now. So that's all ready to go. I wiped down the rotor. I'm gonna put on the caliper, and we'll be just about there with this side. This is a pretty neat kit. Actually, there's a little crush washer that goes in there. I'll have to grab those and put those on. But that pretty much is it, other than tightening it down over here, and then it'll be pretty much the same thing on the other side. I got my new line on. And that'll come in up here. I'm gonna have to finagle that a little bit so it sits in there flat. But I'll get all that worked out and get all that buttoned up. One of the things I ran into was the reason that the cap is not on, although the washer fits in there, when you go to hit it in there, as it kind of goes in a little bit, and as it goes in, it tightens down on that washer. So when as I'm knocking it in, it was stopping, and then you can barely turn the rotor. So what I'm going to have to do is pull this back off and just grind them down a little bit on the outside, give them a little bit more clearance so they'll fit on there. But other than that, I'm real happy with the kit. It seems like everything has fit in there pretty well and working pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and button it up and make that adjustment to the washer right there, and go ahead and do the other side. All right, so I got the whole washer deal worked out. I took the two washers, here's one of them right here. I took the two washers and I ran a bolt through them and I put them on the lathe, and I just turned them down a little bit on the outside. Boy, that thing sure does come in handy. And my advice as far as that goes, if you can ever get your hands on a lathe for cheap, even if you don't know how to use it, get one, because the basic function of churning something on a lathe is really simple. You know, it's a simple concept. Not to take away from guys that know how to do this and doing it as a career, because there is a ton of stuff to learn. But the basic function of making something smaller or making something round, you know, it's not that difficult. You know, a couple YouTube videos and, you know, it's bailed me out more than once on simple things like this. I mean, I could take it to the bench grinder and grind it and churn it and grind it and churn it and burn my fingers and all that kind of stuff. I've done it a bunch of times, man, but whenever you could throw it on a lathe, you know, man, it's pretty cool. Plus it impresses everybody when you tell them that you used a lathe to do that. So the other thing, so this is all done, all back together, it all spins good now. Everything's tightened up, still got to bleed it, but I got to do the other side still. The other thing is, in this kit from Speedway, it says will not work with 14-inch wheels. Now the wheels on this car, the original rally wheels for 68 Super Sport are a 14x7, I believe is what they are. And there's originally disc brakes, so I thought, you know, I plan on changing the wheels anyways, but I thought, you know, might as well give it a shot and see if it works. So I put it on there, and I'll show you when it goes on there. It goes on, but if you listen, it just barely rubs, and I'll show you where. It gets it, I don't know if you can see inside the wheel there. There's a line right here all the way around where it catches it right on that edge. And I'm sure you could probably file that down a little bit, because that's not the actual part that's holding the caliper. But, you know, I would think that you'd have to grind that, and then you're going to deal with your wheel flexing a little bit when you're driving, and it's going to rub anyway. So when they say it doesn't work with 14-inch wheels, they are right. I plan on doing a 15-inch 15x8 Corvette rally wheels is what I planned on putting on this anyways. So, but just a bit of information for you. Anyways, that's about it for this. I'll do the other side, but you know, once you've seen one side, that's pretty much it. And that'll wrap up all of this other than bleeding the brakes. And then we'll move on to something else, probably the engine. Probably do some engine work. So anyways, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe and give me a comment and a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it.